He's brave. He's adorable. He's a little over a foot in diameter, never duplicates but often imitates. He is none other than Kirby. And there is a lot more to this guy than you may initially think. While he may not have the same amount of star power as, say, Mario or Zelda, Kirby's got a history that's just as interesting as either of theirs. Within his history is a lot of trivia that the average person may have no idea about, and I'm here to share what I've uncovered. So let's not waste any more time and get right on with the trivia, shall we? Kirby's no stranger when it comes to showing up in games other than his own. You may know about the anti-Kirby enemies found in Link's Awakening for the Game Boy, or even the fact that Kirby appears as the cursor in Earthbound's debug mode, but he's made a few more cameos that you may not be aware of, such as in the 1992 RPG Arcana for the Super Nintendo. During the game's opening cutscene, you can see what appears to be two Kirbys among a crowd of warriors. Since Arcana was developed by HAL Laboratory, the same team behind the Kirby series, this is most likely a nod to the pink puffball we all know. HAL Laboratory also developed the Pokemon Stadium games on the Nintendo 64, and Kirby makes a small cameo in the second game. If the player connects Pokemon Gold, Silver, or Crystal to the N64 after collecting an NES or Super NES in-game to decorate their room, various screenshots of games from those consoles will appear on the room's TV. Among these games are Kirby's Adventure for the NES and Kirby Superstar for the SNES. Kirby has a few more connections with the Pokemon series. In Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, you can battle a roughneck by the name of Kirby in the Lost Tower. His only Pokemon on hand is a Cleffa, who shares several similarities with the Kirby character. Both are small, pink, and round and have affiliations with outer space in some way. One last connection between the two franchises can be found in their respective animes. The actors and actresses who portrayed King Dedede and Escargoon, Meta Knight, Chef Kawasaki, and Tuff were the same ones who voiced Giovanni, James, Meowth, and Wobbuffet respectively. All those characters happen to be members of Team Rocket, but I digress. The voice actor for Kirby has been Makiko Omoto in most media, though she wasn't the first person to portray him. The very first time Kirby was ever given a voice was in an educational video titled Mario Kirby Masterpiece Video, which was only released in Japan. The video was narrated by actress Mayumi Tanaka, who also voiced the characters in the video. Anime fans may know Tanaka as the Japanese voice of Krillin from the Dragon Ball series, or even as Monkey D. Luffy from the One Piece franchise. Kirby's first speaking role in the games was in Super Smash Bros., where Makiko Omoto not only voiced him, but also the character Ness from Earthbound, a game that was also developed by HAL Laboratory. Well, would you look at that, I just came full circle. Much like Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Kirby Air Ride had a shaky and lengthy development cycle, with development for the game beginning in the early days of the Nintendo 64, not the GameCube. It was first announced in 1995 as Kirby Bowl 64, and it was going to be a sequel to Kirby's Dream Course. Kirby Bowl 64 was featured in various gaming previews alongside Mario and Pilot Wings, and was slated to be released on the then-named Ultra 64. While it's likely that this game would have played similarly to its predecessor, some of the gameplay footage features Kirby riding what appears to be a snowboard, and it's thought that this element is what eventually led to the game being retooled into Air Ride. Screenshots of Air Ride reveal that King Dedede was slated to appear, alongside other Kirby antagonists Mr. Frosty and Poppy Bros Sr., though it's unknown if they would have been playable. Air Ride's development was very quiet, and it's been said that the game's cancellation was due to the developers having trouble getting the multiplayer to run at a decent frame rate on the Nintendo 64. The game later resurfaced on the GameCube and was first shown in the form of a brief video at Las Vegas's annual DICE Summit in March of 2003. This game is also noteworthy for being the last Kirby game that series creator Masahiro Sakurai worked on. Sakurai said that he had grown tired of the industry pressuring him to constantly create sequels to his games, and he resigned from his position at HAL shortly after Air Ride was released in Japan. However, despite his apparent distaste for sequels, he ended up working on Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and is currently hard at work on Smash Bros. For the 3DS and Wii U. One of the most interesting things to come out of the world of Kirby was the anime adaptation. Known as Hoshi no Kirby in Japan and Kirby Right Back At Ya in English, it was produced by Warp Star Incorporated and had many people who worked on the games oversee its production. Among these people included Nintendo President Satoru Iwata and Masahiro Sakurai himself. Sakurai was heavily involved with the show and had a lot of creative input, with some of his decisions being that there were to be no human characters and that Kirby shouldn't be able to speak. The show had a completely original plot and only used the games as a basis. However, many of the show's elements have influenced the franchise as a whole, and its impact can still be seen to this day. For example, the design used for King Dedede's castle in the anime is also used in Kirby Squeak Squad, Kirby's Epic Yarn, and Kirby Mass Attack. Squeak Squad also uses the anime design for the Halberd, and King Dedede's monster transporter can be seen in his throne room. In the Japanese version of the show, King Dedede had a tendency to end his sentences with the word Zoi, which apparently doesn't really mean anything. This verbal tick was carried over to Dedede's narration for the Japanese version of Kirby's Epic Yarn. King Dedede's right-hand man, Escargoon, as well as Chef Shiitake and customer service, all make cameo appearances in Kirby Mass Attack. They're among a small group of characters from the anime to make an appearance in the games. Kabuki Kirby and Water Kirby made their first appearances in the anime too, and both became official copy abilities in Mass Attack and Return to Dreamland respectively. Water Kirby is especially interesting, as it was one of 4 copy abilities created by the fans in Japan, the other 3 being Baton, Iron, and Top Kirby. Arguably, one of the biggest impacts the show had on the franchise was on the franchise's own logo. When Kirby Right Back Atcha came to North America in 2002, Kirby's logo outside of Japan was changed to more closely resemble the one used in the show's English dub. Since then, the logo has been used in nearly every Kirby game released, and this tradition continues with the upcoming Kirby Triple Deluxe. One last bit of logo trivia can be found in Mass Attack. The title screen for the Kirby's Quest minigame bears a strong resemblance to the title screen for Arcana. Well, that's it for today, guys, but if I find more obscure trivia about a game that I find interesting, you can be sure I'll be back with another episode. Also, make sure you check out Did You Know Gaming. They're a lot more professional than I am, and they're the main reason I decided to find trivia of my own to share with people. So if you haven't checked them out already, do it right now. Link is in the description. Also, if you want, don't forget to like, share, favorite, follow me on Facebook, insert shameless plug in here, and all the other good stuff every video tells you to do, if that wasn't already all of them. But anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you all next time.
We're right behind you, Majesty. You're a hero to us all.
Oh, come now, little old me a hero? Surely you jesting.